Hi everyone, it's Vicky and I am back. And I'm back with no makeup on and my glasses because that's just how I feel pretty today. Anyways, I'm going to be teaching you how to make an odd peyote stitch cuff today. Last time I taught you the even peyote stitch cuff. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging, but it is kind of an important skill to learn if you want to learn how to make a candy mask or like a bigger project in the future. So for your supplies for this project, it's pretty simple. You'll just need a pair of scissors, some pretty stretchy string, and then any sort of color beads that you would like. Now your first step is going to be to cut off a length of string. So I recommend just going with a fathom. So you're going to make it the length of fingertip to fingertip when you stretch out your arms. And this big old long piece is what I'm going to be using to make the cuff. So now that I have my pretty shiny piece of string cut out, I'm going to start placing on rows. So I'm going to start by folding the string in half and having the two ends up right next to each other. I'm going to place one bead on each end. This initial step is just like the even peyote stitch. The only difference is that there's going to be an odd number of rows. So you'll go ahead and place the two strings back together and place one bead onto both of the strings at the same time. And continue this pattern. One bead on each string. And then one bead on both strings at the same time. And it doesn't matter how many rows you make as long as they are an odd number. I'm going to go with 5. And then you'll pick up the two ends of the string and bring all the beads towards the very middle. And then here you can tighten up the rows. And it should look something like that. Take the two ends of string and tie a square knot. Now that I have my square knot, I'm going to go ahead and start weaving beads on. So first off, take one of the ends of the string and place it through one of the beads that's popping out on the end. And pull that through. You're going to leave the other long string just hanging off. You're going to use that later. Then you can place a bead that is the same color as this bead in this gap here and place it on the string. Then place your string through the next bead that's popping out. For me, that's my yellow bead. Then you'll place a bead to fill the next gap. And then place your string through the next bead that's popping out and pull it through. So now you have completed one row. Now the difference between doing this stitch and doing the even peyote stitch is that we're going to have to use both strings to go the same way instead of each string going its own direction. So I'm going to need to get the other string in a position where I can start using it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place my string through the opposite bead of the one that I originally placed the other string through, like this. Then I'm going to turn around and place it through this bead so that it will stick out headed in that direction. And then we're going to join this string with the other one, and I will show you what I mean. So I'm just going to start weaving on beads and filling the gaps. So I'm going to place a pink bead here in this gap, then a yellow bead in the next gap, and then you'll see here it kind of seems like you've come to a dead end because there's a gap there, but there's no bead popping out to string it through next. So what you'll do is on the same string that we were using just now, go ahead and place a bead the same color as those edge rows, and then take the other string, the one that you weren't using currently, and place it through this poor little bead that's just kind of floating out there. Like that. And that will help secure that row so that you can continue on with the bracelet. And that is the hardest part of the odd peyote stitch. So I'm going to continue on with this string. Going to place a green bead to fill my gap, and then an orange bead, then I'll take the other string and I'll start filling the next gaps. So a blue, then a yellow, and then a pink, and as you can see, I have again gotten to a point where the two strings are on the same side of the bracelet and this poor bead is just kind of floating around. So I'll take the other string and place it through that bead, going in the opposite direction, and just continue doing these steps until the bracelet is as long as you want it, and then I will show you how to tie off the bracelet. So now that I have my bracelet at the length that I want it, I'm going to go ahead and tie the two ends together. But before you do that, you want to make sure that your two ends are going to fit together like a little puzzle piece, like so. If they don't, just go ahead and add another row onto the end. Go ahead and choose one of the strings to work with, and you're going to take that string and place it through the bead that's popping out on the side of the bracelet that doesn't have any strings, like so. Then go back to the other side of the bracelet and place it through the next bead that's popping out. Then you'll go back to the other side and place your string through the next bead that's popping out. So you can see here that we're only placing our string through beads that are popping out. Until you get to the very end bead. And then you want to tighten the two strings by pulling on them. And then the two ends of the bracelet should come together like that. And then you're just going to take your two ends of string, which ended up right next to each other, and tie a square knot about 3 or 4 times. And then you can cut off both the strings. And now your odd peyote stitch cuff is complete. And thank you so much to anyone that's watching this tutorial. You can show me what you've made on Facebook or Instagram at Vicky's Candy Shop. You can comment below for any questions or suggestions. Subscribe for more tutorials, and until next time, peace, love, unity, and respect.